Hi, I'm Hal Halliday from Breakthrough Leadership. Welcome to part 4 of a 5-part series, Leading Remote Teams. Today we're talking about meeting people where they are, and we're going to talk about the loss of normalcy and the grief and how we can, as leaders, help people process some of that. Before we start on part 4, just want to review the 5 things from part 3 that we talked about the other day. One, as we create stability, which was part 3, focus on creating a space that's stable. Everyone was sent from home, and I don't think we thought through or planned very effectively how to help them be successful in the physical space. Think about onboarding and all the intentionality to helping a new employee start, and apply some of those principles and processes, and you'll be okay. We also talked about creating psychological safety, which is the sense of belonging to a team and being able to be your authentic self without feeling judgment. Number 3, we talked about how a fear or threat can activate our amygdala, which sets off an alarm in our brain and sort of shuts down our most productive and higher level thinking as we go into a fight, flight, or freeze mode. Then I shared this quote, in every crisis, doubt, or confusion, take the higher path, the path of compassion, courage, understanding, and love. It's a quote by Dr. Amit Ray. And 5th, I thought the 4 most important words from part 3 are replace blame with curiosity. So, as we go into meeting people where they are, I wanted to share some thoughts from David Kessler, who's an author and the world's foremost expert on grief. And he shared that the loss of normalcy, the economic toll of the pandemic, and the loss of connection that it has created grief, not unlike when we lose someone we love, that the loss of all those things that we were familiar with. And if we can name it, perhaps we can tame it, right? So by calling it grief, it lets us understand that it's serious, and we may know how to process it better. We know this isn't business as usual. These are unprecedented conditions, and that's why leadership is so critical in these moments. I mean, what's happened is that work just made a hostile takeover of our home life, right? We've got a house full of people, kids, spouses, a spouse, possibly maybe aging parents, all trying to get something done, and that is impacting our work. And it sounds like chaos, and it is, so let's just own that. I think the critical opportunity here is to create space for people to learn how to adapt, and as leaders, to be on the lookout for team members that are really facing complex and chaotic situations. No one chose it, so the best we can do is set the proper expectations given those conditions when we assign work and expect performance from them. We also know that the structure of our working office life doesn't exist anymore, and so people are struggling to figure out how to follow schedules, be accountable, and get the job done given all this stuff that's happening. So as a leader, you may want to rethink how you assign work. I'll give you an example of a client that I have that they were talking about a challenge with someone who'd been a very high performer. This woman was a single mother, and when she went home to work from home, she had 2 small children that she had to care for by herself, and that made it very difficult for her to continue to perform at the same level she had. And so we worked on ideas to help mitigate that situation for her and help her. And I think some of the things you can do to help your team, if you have a condition like that, is to assess the work that the team needs to do. Start with that. Then assess the new conditions that people are working in and the capacity of each team member to do their work. Then as a team, you can discuss what the team's objectives are and the best way to accomplish those objectives given everybody's work from home conditions. This could be a really cool team building experience as team members figure out how to help each other get a job done given the pandemic, the work from home, and some of the complex and chaotic conditions people have in their homes. So think about, you may need to reassign critical assignments given what people are dealing with at home. But your teammates, the teammates on the team can help figure that out with you. And I think that's a cool experience, team builder experience that's like right here, right now. It's taking advantage of this crisis. I've also got a couple of ideas that might help you if you do have a crowded house full of folks. For one, start with remind yourself that it's temporary, so be flexible. Go with it a little bit and see what you can learn. Something you can do is to post a close sign, kind of a do not disturb sign. So when you have a critical deadline or you need an hour for a meeting, your family members and household members know that you need some privacy and that they can be aware of that. They'll appreciate it. You'll appreciate it. You can also block time for family time and work time, so it's just not a big blend over 12 hours during the day, and help kids intentionally plan for activities that don't need your supervision. Extend trust to them and let them go and do the work or do the fun and their homework without you having to be there every minute, sort of micromanaging it. Also, the opposite can be equally difficult for people if they have no one in their home. You may have team members who are living alone in an apartment or home, and when they went to shelter in place, didn't see people for a couple of days or a week or longer, and will just miss that social connection. So be mindful of that. While that's what we need to contain the virus, it could be very dangerous for people's mental and emotional health. So be aware of that. Feeling isolated and alone can kind of creep up on people. So try and stay ahead of that by checking in and by also creating social activities on your team, and encouraging people that are isolated to find ways that they can connect with nature and being outside with other family members through their own remote experiences and virtual games and things. So, but be mindful and be helpful and see how you can help them. Lastly, know that, as I've mentioned, all of this is temporary. This is a grand experiment. Everyone is trying this and working from home and learning. This might change the way we work in the future, but we will go back to something that we seem pretty familiar with, and that grief will disappear. Not only will we be adapting to it, but we'll also go back to something more normal for us. So be mindful of that, and also remind yourself and your teammates that it's normal to feel a range of emotions, including anxiety and boredom and loneliness at times, and stress and anxiety. But if we're working together, if we're caring for each other, if we're mindful of each other, we can work through that with each other. I love this quote by Brene Brown, the author. She said, "The power of empathy says that I'm in it with you. I'm not here to fix you or to feel for you. I'm here to feel with you and to let you know that you're not alone." I think if you're doing that, if you're experiencing that, you are leading in the best way, and you're doing the best thing that you can do in this moment. So thank you for being with me today and for your great leadership. Please leave any questions, ideas, or share what's working for you in this experience in the comments below. Stay home and stay healthy.